First, you're going to take your fabric and cut it into two pieces of 50 centimeters times 45 centimeters for the body of the bag, and two pieces of 80 centimeters times 8 centimeters for the handles of the bag. If you want to modify the measurements, feel free to do so. If you want to make a smaller or bigger bag, just decrease or increase the measurements for both the body of the bag and the handles. One thing you do have to keep in mind is the fabric you choose for your bag. If you want to carry heavier things with the bag, then obviously you want to choose a sturdier type of fabric. Take the two pieces for the body of the bag and pin them together. If your fabric has a good side and bad side, like mine, then make sure that you put the good sides facing together inwards and have the bad sides facing outwards towards you, like this. Because afterwards we're going to be flipping it inside out, and obviously we want the pretty side to be facing outwards. Now we're going to sew three sides of the fabric. And obviously this is because we want to leave an opening for us to put stuff in our bag. And you can do this using a sewing machine, or you can hand sew as well. Next, we're going to pin the corners of the bottom together, approximately 5 to 7 centimeters from the bottom. I'm just going to sew along the spot where I pinned. I sewed approximately 7 centimeters along the pin, and we're going to need to do this on both sides. This step is super important because our bag is going to have a rectangular shape on the bottom, which gives us more space to put more things in our bag. Let's put the body of our bag aside for a second and move on to the handles for now. So you're going to fold both long sides inwards and then in half again. So depending on how slim or wide you want your handles to be, you can decide on how much or little you wish to fold. And as you're folding, you're going to be ironing the fabric as well. And this is important because it helps keep the fabric in place. I actually tried doing this without the iron, but it was quite hard because the fabric wouldn't stay in place. So I highly recommend that you do iron it. You can also iron the body of the bag if you wish. Back to the sewing machine again. So we're going to sew along the pins we just put in place and secure the opening of the fabric. And we're going to do that for both of the handles. Alright, we're almost good to go. One last thing we have to do is to fold about 5 centimeters or so of the fabric of the bag's opening inwards. This step is important for attaching our handles next. Okay, so now that we've got the body of the bag and the handles ready to go, let's assemble it and make it into a real tote bag. The fold that we made is going to come in handy now because we're going to take our handles and tuck it into that little flap. So just be aware of the positioning of the handles. You want to make sure that they're not all twisted and that the position is where you want them to be. So after you've got all that down, grab your pins and secure them in place. So since I'm basically pinning 2 layers of the handle plus the fabric of the bag, it was quite thick. So it was actually quite difficult to get it through the thick layers of fabric. Just be careful when you're pinning the handles, you don't want to jab your fingers. Next up, we're going to sew the handles on. So we're going to sew all along the fold and the handles to make sure they're both secure. It's important to sew the handles as securely as possible because it's a bag and they need to be strong. When sewing along the handles, since they're so thick, I made sure to sew it once through like normal, and then by using the reverse option on the machine to sew it over once more. And then you're done. I was so shocked at the results. I never, ever, ever thought in a million years that I could make such a normal looking tote bag from scratch. It was super easy and simple to make, considering how little sewing experience I had. And it didn't take a super long time either, which is a bonus for sure.